today I'm giving you guys my week 10 picks and also some fantasy advice as well. But let's go ahead and get started off with this week's game. Starting off on Thursday Night Football, we have an AFC North rivalry game. These are always good. For this one, I'm obviously going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. They've been looking a lot better than the Cincinnati Bengals have this whole entire year, and this offense basically looks unstoppable. Our last international game, I think it is, which is in Germany, New York Giants versus my Carolina Panthers. I know my Panthers just got a win versus the New Orleans Saints, but I'm going to be real, we lucked up. The way that game went and the overall stats, we probably should have lost it, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the Giants, but I can see the Panthers win this. We have the Patriots versus the Chicago Bears, and I was hopping on the Bears train a little bit, especially after they looked like versus the Washington Commanders. Even though they did lose that game, they were holding on in there tight. Then after they looked versus the Arizona Cardinals last week, I'm not gonna lie, I really want to pick the New England Patriots and Drake May, but I mean, they're not that great neither, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pick the Bears. The Bills versus Colts, I'm just gonna go ahead and pick the Buffalo Bills. I do think the Colts are a lot better than they showed off last week versus the Minnesota Vikings, but I mean, it is the Bills. They're obviously a lot better team. We have Broncos versus the Chiefs. I've been saying this a lot because a lot of people have been asking me if I think the Chiefs are gonna go undefeated this season. I said it's gonna be at least one team that is worse than them that ends up beating them. I think the Broncos can do that. I want to pick the Chiefs though, just because of the Chiefs. You know what? I always go with like one huge upset every single week, so I'm gonna go with the Broncos here. We have the Atlanta Falcons versus New Orleans Saints. What is wrong with the Saints right now? Well, from a Panthers fan, I love how we just beat them and their whole franchise just crumbled. All that being said, I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Falcons. They're obviously a better team. We have the 49ers versus Buccaneers. Props to Baker Mayfield on Monday Night Football, having Mike Evans and Chris Godwin out and still going toe-to-toe with the reigning Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs. I think this game will actually be close. I don't like how the 49ers are getting 5.5 points. Still, go ahead and give me the 49ers. A lot of these games I've been very one-sided on, but this one I really don't know which one I'm going with. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Washington Commanders. I think I'm going to take the Washington Commanders though. Actually, no, I changed my mind. I've been saying the Washington Commanders all week. I changed my mind. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers here, especially with that defense. I kind of think it's going to get under the rookie's quarterback skin a little bit. I think Russell Wilson have a pretty good game versus that Washington Commanders defense as well. Next up, we have the Vikings at Jaguars. I don't think the Vikings are really the same team they were when they went undefeated. Sam Darnold's just like not protecting the ball as much as he was. But with that being said, it is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I could see them low-key winning because the Jaguars have been looking better the past couple weeks. But go ahead and give me the Vikings. Titans at Chargers. Chargers have been looking really good these past few weeks too. I'm going to go ahead and take them. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys. I actually thought that this game would have been close too, but Dak Prescott is supposed to be on IR. I don't know if they actually have officially put him on there yet. From what everything it seems, he should at least miss this game. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Eagles. And honestly, even if Dak Prescott did play, I'll probably go with the Eagles anyway. For our last non-primetime game, we had the Jets at the Cardinals. I really don't know who I'm going to go with here because the Cardinals have been looking good, but the Jets look good, like really good last week. Finally looks like that offense is kind of going. I really want to pick the Cardinals. Yeah, I'm going to pick the Cardinals. I was about to go to the Jets, but I'm going to pick the Cardinals. Sunday Night Football, Lions at Texans. Earlier in the season, if I saw this matchup, I would have thought this would be a really good game, but now not really because the Texans aren't really the Texans that we thought they would have been at the beginning of the season. The offensive line is terrible, losing their top two wide receivers in Nico Collins and Diggs, but Nico Collins is supposed to be back, so maybe that'll make it a little bit closer, but overall, I'm still taking the Lions. That offense has been dominant over the past couple of weeks. And our last game is going to be Monday Night Football, Dolphins versus Rams. The Rams are a totally different team. They have Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp back, so I'm obviously taking them. I do hope the Miami Dolphins kind of get back on their feet again since Tua is back now, but I don't see it happening here. Now, time for some fantasy advice like I do every week in these videos as well. And first of all, I'm going to tell you my waiver wire pickups. First of all, it's going to be the Chargers wide receiver Quentin Johnson. I don't think he's a long-term start, but if you need somebody just to start this week because you have somebody injured or have somebody on a bye week, I think it's a perfect pickup. For the games that he has played, I think he's played like 5 now. He's had 2 of those over 20 points per game. So he's actually been looking pretty good. I just wish he could be more consistent, but the Chargers are throwing the ball a lot more now with Justin Herbert. We have the Patriots quarterback in Drake May. I don't know if I would start him this week because the Bears have a really good defense. After that, he has a pretty favorable schedule, so I do like that pickup as well. Then we have the 49ers wide receiver Juwan Jennings. I told you guys to pick him up last week because with Brandon Ayuk being injured, I do think he's going to start going off like he was when the 49ers had a lot of people injured in those couple of games. Even though if you didn't pick him up last week, maybe he'll be available this week as well. And then the last one is going to be the Panthers wide receiver Xavier Legette. It's clear now that Deontay Johnson is gone that he is the wide receiver one. Now that Adam Thielen is supposed to be back this week or next week, production might fall off a little bit. Looks like he has a really good connection with a new starting quarterback in Bryce Young now, so I would love that pickup as well. Finally, the last thing for this video, I have some buy low and sell high candidates. Buy low, Tyron Tracy, the Giants running back. I know he didn't have the greatest game this past weekend with 7.9 points. Probably be able to get him for a low price, and don't think that Devin Singletary is just going to come back and be the starter in that offense, because last week he had one of the most snap counts any game that Devin Singletary is healthy and playing in. And our next buy low is Breece Hall. Obviously, he's not the big time player that we saw last year, but this offense looked a lot better versus the Houston Texans. Hopefully, if that keeps up, and also he got a lot more carries this week than he usually does. I think it's looking up for Breece Hall, and we might see the same guy that we saw last season. Sell high candidates, we have a Cortland Sutton. Last 2 weeks, he's been amazing, having 17.12 points and then 23.28, but that was against two of the worst defenses slash secondaries, the Panthers, because they are obviously one of the worst defenses, and then the Baltimore Ravens, and obviously they're one of the worst secondaries right now. The next couple weeks, he does have some tough matchups, so I wouldn't mind to go ahead and trade him right now, because I don't think he's going to have nowhere near this point production in the next few weeks. Now our next sell high is Jordan Addison. He had 16.1 points this past week versus the Colts. The way he's being worked in this offense, I don't really think he'll have that many points like going forward, and if he does, it'll be so inconsistent that you won't even want to start him anyway. So I would go ahead and sell him high while he just had a huge game. And that's my weekly predictions, waiver wire pickup, and sell high and buy low candidates. I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys on next time. Peace.